Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cistrino back here with some Friday feedback here, talking to the patrons about what's going on here with Survivor 46. Okay, got a little bit of an update on this podcast here today. Under the gun a little bit in terms of timing. I've got approximately 45 minutes here for the Friday feedback show here today. Normally, I love to have longer to talk with everybody. That being said, we were waiting on a trader's exit interview. We were waiting for a while. We just got it in. My kids are in a play tonight, and if I am not ready to leave this house at 4:30, I'm going to be divorced. Okay? The play is at 7. I don't know why we have to leave at 4:30. Okay? I don't make the rules. I just get told them. And then if I ask too many questions, I get in trouble. Okay? So I asked, what are we doing for dinner? That was a stupid question. I got yelled at for that. So got to keep it a little tight with everybody here today. We're going to get to everything. I promise. Okay. Let's jump right in. We're going to have a big podcast coming up on this weekend. We're recording it tomorrow. It's going to air Sunday night, 17th Place Roundtable. A lot of hype around that on Club Condo this week. Of course, great podcast with Jam Jam, and then the Know-It-Alls, and a nice exit interview with Jess. So let's get into talking about what you have to say about Survivor. Longtime patron backstage, Scott. Scott, how are
Hey,
you?
how's it going? I'm
What's
doing good.
happening,
I'm
Scott?
I'm here from the former home of the Know-It-Alls at the
Yes.
Pepper Mill.
At the Pepper Mill. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
What's going on there?
not much, just
A
hanging
little
out.
A little
Computer stuff.
video poker going on?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. All right, Scott,
So
what's happening?
I know you're in the gun, but I wanted to talk about
I'm
this challenge.
Yeah, I'm good. I just think like there's not a ton of people on hold, so we're good.
Okay. So I mean, does this feel like this was the first time they've done a challenge that was mostly based on who has the most tall people?
I'm sure there's been other challenges they've done that have been having tall people would help. I mean, certainly like they've done like, basketball shooting challenges and like water polo and things like that. So I'm sure there's lots of challenges where height is an advantage, but this is a good point about, having a tall tribe is, especially unique skill set for this challenge.
Yeah, it just feels like, I mean, strength is one thing that's kind of like something that's, kind of can't be determined specifically, but you can't do
Mhm.
anything about being tall. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like how many seasons is this challenge gonna set back gender equity for the early vote outs?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a way to like have it not be as tall. Mike Bloom ran this challenge with Dalton Ross. I heard Dalton Ross talk about it. I haven't seen any of Mike's stuff to hear exactly how it went for the press corps to compete in this challenge.
Oh, that's right. I remember him saying there was one coming up. So I'll be
Hmm.
curious what their experience with this challenge is. Like this by just maybe giving like a couple blocks that people can sleep on
Oh,
and not
interesting.
base it
Well,
just
maybe
on, you know,
like, Scott, maybe you're onto like some kind of like emergent strategy of like, could you have somebody stand on a block until you're ready to place it?
problem seemed to be that that very last block, not only you had to be tall enough to get it, over to kind of fill that hole. And then to do that, you already had to have other tall people holding up the stuff. So that last person had to be tall also. So
Yeah.
that particular thing wouldn't have helped because it's that last block that is, the worst of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a frustrating challenge to watch, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure necessarily I know they did it in Australian Survivor. I'm not sure if it was exactly the same kind of turnout there on Australian Survivor.
You know, I was watching some old survivors and I missed the challenge of creating the distress signal. I can't remember
Yes.
the last time they've done that, but there was
Yeah.
a season for the first 4 or 5 seasons.
Did they do it in Palau?
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm asking. I'm asking more than if they did.
I don't remember. I was watching what was it, Marquesas,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
they were doing that.
Yeah. Um Okay, we'll bring back the SOS challenge.
At least it's not high stakes.
Yes. Okay. All right,
But yeah,
Scott.
that's all I got for you today.
Okay. All right, Scott. Good luck this weekend. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right. Let's say hello to Angie is on hold. Angie, how are you?
Good. I didn't realize I'd get called in.
Sure. Are you ready to come on now, or you need a minute?
I don't really have anything to say. I've been a patron for a long, long time. I'm never available for anything like this. I listen back to it later, but I close
cool.
my office door and I probably have a line of college students outside waiting.
Okay, Angie, I like your cupcakes poster.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah,
I'm a baker in my spare time.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot with any questions. Do you have any
No.
comments about things?
Well, yeah, you all think so much more deeply about Survivor than I do. I just love.
We have
I
to.
think you and Nicole need a sitcom, is what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Often we have one.
I think you should get to some script writing. That's for sure. You two make me laugh all the time.
I think that, well, that's the only good thing. I wish, I am not a journal person, and many times I regret that I'm not, but I feel like that the closest thing I have to a journal is like the Patron 5 for 5 and the my Apple iPhoto catalog, and so that's it. So maybe if we ever do write a sitcom, I'll go back and re-listen to the Patron 5 for 5 episodes.
Yeah, and I'm sure it brings the two of you plenty of angst at times, but just cherish the fact that it brings us so much joy.
Yeah, Angie, thank you so much for saying that. I really do try to, like it's nice because it like forces us. I don't want to say necessarily like it's couples therapy, but it forces us to sit down and have like a conversation that we might not have otherwise had that day. So I do think that there is like a net positive, especially when it's not like super late at night when we're both
and
tired.
it's so clear that you two love each other so much and love your boys and all of the goodness that you folks have for each other. And I've been following you guys since before the boys were born. So it's all very good. So
there's highs and lows, but yeah, that's my person.
Yeah, you can tell. And I think I love it because my person and we've been together for 34 years this year, high school sweethearts. And not that we're boring, but we're just so chill, and we just don't get each other kerfluffled at all. And
you live vicariously through us.
I guess so. Neither of us are as feisty as your bride, so
yes,
I think that's
okay.
That's a big part of it. But
you haven't asked your person for a boulder in the last week.
Hey, that story? I was laughing out loud. I want to see pictures of both of those rocks.
I'll take pictures of the boulder.
I have wanted a boulder for so long.
Oh,
we live rurally in Wisconsin, and I want a boulder so bad.
I need Jelinski to come here and move the boulder.
Yeah, I have a
want to hang out
for large rocks, so I totally get Nicole on that one. So
yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, don't hurt yourself.
I'll try not to. Angie, thank you so much for the lovely call.
For all the joy you've brought me all these years. The ups and downs of my life have been through your podcast. So just congratulations on the longevity and keep it going.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying that. This was, this was a very nice call.
Oh, good. I'll try to get on again sometime because I do have smart things to say about Survivor, but just not today, I guess.
Not today. Okay. All right. Well, promise, and I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Go bring a student in. Okay.
Okay. Bye. All right. There you go. All right. Let's say hello to Let's say hello to Matthew, who's on hold. Okay, Matthew, how are you?
Rob, good to see you. How you doing?
What's happening?
Not too much. Still in surgery recovery, so I've just been gobbling up reality TV content as much as I can.
Yes.
So
okay.
It's been
anything in particular?
I mean, Survivor, Traders, and Dondi, of course.
Dondi, of course. Yeah. Word on the street is that episode 3 of Dondi is very exciting.
Okay.
Coming Monday. Then also I posted a Australian Survivor check-in with Shannon Gus also, which I thought was fun.
Yeah, I already caught it. I'm on top of it. I can't. The only exercise I can do is walk right now. So I'm just consuming everything. It's been good.
Okay, cool. What's happening?
I do have a Survivor question, so I'm curious what you think about this. A lot of talk about small tribes and the kind of repeated social dynamics that we've been seeing. A lot of time, one person on the outs. I'm curious what you think if you take Jess and Venus and you swap them to start the season. I know Jess probably runs into some of the same stuff because I think what she was going through was more personal. Curious what you think about Venus on Yanu and how that plays out.
Yeah, Venus on Yanu might be a completely different story. And I think that one of the things that Jess talked about with Mike Bloom was that she really felt like she needed the fire. I guess, I don't know if she was like cold at night and that was contributing to her not sleeping. And she felt like that if they could just get the flint, that she was really trying to optimize for tribe strength so that they could have the flint and she could be warm at night so she could sleep. So maybe it's like better for both of them. I mean, I think that you would imagine Venus, I think would probably hit it off with Kenzie. Although, I mean, is there a person Kenzie can't hit it off with?
Right.
And then I guess where does she ultimately run into similar problems with, you know, if Q has like a little bit more, although I mean, I think that Q did pretty well with Jess and Banu. So I don't want to say that like Q is like a dictator in his tribe. You know, I don't know. I probably is better, right?
I think so. I mean, can't get much worse for her than it is right now. So I think I would take that hypothetical if I were her. But fascinating to think about. I felt bad for Venus a lot. I know a lot of people felt that way watching this episode. I felt like she was getting a lot of crap for not a lot of reason, although it's tough because we only see a little piece of it, of course.
Yeah, it's, you know, and we kind of got, you know, both sides. We got like where Tevin and Soda both talked about like what they're frustrated about. And so are they feeling like, okay, well, somebody's got to go in the tribe. So, okay, like it's very important for our numbers, okay, that everybody knows that's the person. And then, you know, does that sort of like, you know, even if they don't go to a tribal council, puts her in a bad spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see if she and Randon can pull something off together. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We usually don't see the two people at the bottom work together against the top.
Right.
It's usually they're pitted against each other.
Yeah. Either way, is it just another reason why I'm hoping for bigger tribes? 2 tribes start would be nice to see again. Because I feel like we're seeing a lot of the same stuff every season. It's like one person on the bottom, you know.
Yeah, Australian Survivor has it. I think that you know, there's Survivor in terms of like the way they produce the show. Like, I think that even though they did have big tribes for Survivor 40, I think that one of the things in the new era is I think that, you know, after season 39, I think they really do try to police, like they don't want like a big like cuddle puddle of like all of the survivors in the shelter together. And I think that 3 tribes ultimately is the answer for that. I've been told from survivors in the new era, they have to sleep in certain ways and, you know, to head to toe and no sort of like spooning. And they really like try to keep them like warm and separate. And so, I think that's maybe they change it at some point, but I think for now, I think that that's part of the reason for it's not just game design. I think that they're also looking at like, okay, how do we make sure we don't have any sort of repeat from the stuff that everybody was rightfully so upset about with season 39?
Yeah. And maybe like you get 2 nights of that at the merge, but at least it's not the entire show.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
All right, Matthew, thank you so much. Okay. Keep feeling better. Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
All right,
get on time tonight. Don't be late.
I got it. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye. Yeah, my kids are in The Lion King. I'm sorry, Jungle Book. I keep saying Lion King. It's Jungle Book. It's the Jungle Book. Okay. All right. Hannah, are you ready to go? Let's see. Let's give Hannah a shot. Hannah, are you there? Hey, Hannah.
Hello.
Hannah, what's happening?
Nothing much.
Yeah, what's going on by you?
Literally, I have the most boring life in the world. Absolutely nothing.
Impossible.
Yeah. I have a question. I don't know if this has been talked about before, but is it possible that you can play an idol and a shot in the dark? Like, let's say Jess, like, even like she knew it was fake, but even if it wasn't,
Mhm.
Like, because she thought it was fake, could she play her shot in the dark and
Yes,
then
I
play
think
the idol?
so. I think so. I think you can go do the shot in the dark, and then if the shot in the dark doesn't work, I think then you can also play your idol. Now, do you need to play your idol before the shot in the dark is revealed? I'm not sure. I think you could. I think Jeff could say, all right, Hannah is not safe. Like, all right, in that case, let me play the idol. I think you could.
Okay.
Because when you play the shot in the dark, you give up your right to vote
Yeah.
or play an extra vote. But I don't think you give up your right to play your idol.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. But...
And even still, I guess like could you have somebody else say like I'm playing this idol for Hannah tonight. So I think you could play the idol.
Okay. Because then like I guess in like a different scenario than this week, like you could like if they split the vote, you played your shot in the dark, and then you could play your idol on your ally, and then something could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Hannah, would you go play Survivor?
I would be honored.
Yes. Okay, because this is the kind of outside the box thinking that they're looking for in the new era.
I'll apply today.
Okay. Go for it. I mean, don't open with I have the most boring life in the world.
Yeah, I'll write that down.
Don't tell them that.
Never. I have the craziest, unbelievable life. That's good.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Although maybe if you were like, hey, I have the most boring life in the world, and I'm ready to change that by going on Survivor.
Right here, right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jeff will eat it up.
He might. You never know.
Never know.
All right. Well, Hannah, it was lovely to talk to you.
You as well.
All right. Take care. Bye. Okay. Now, Josh Kettle says that they already figured out the order of operations in Survivor 43. Okay. What did I miss, Josh?
Oh, Rob. Yeah, this is exactly what I was going to talk about. So I love that Hannah brought it up. So Survivor 43 in the first tribal council, when Jamie played her shot in the dark, there was two things that were clarified then, because both, I believe Matthew had his idol at that point as well. And then also, who's the guy that played his idol at that first tribal that sent Maddie home?
I'm sorry, that
at 43, there's a guy who played an idol and Maddie went home. I forget what his name is right now. Brandon. Yes, thank you. Brandon caught him. Yeah.
Yes.
That was like the moment where we learned that the shot in the darks are resolved before idols are played in red, because she played her shot in the dark. It was found out that Jamie's safe, and then Brandon played his idol. So I've been promoting what I think is like what I've been dubbing the shot with an idol chaser as a move that people should strongly consider. I even came up with like a 3 checklist like flow chart, if you will, of like if you should consider doing this move. So
what's the flow chart?
Yeah, can I walk you through it?
Yes, please.
Number
Do you have
one,
a PowerPoint.
I don't. I mean, I don't.
A dry erase board.
I do not. I don't think it's that complicated, but it basically comes down to 3 things. 1, do you have an idol and a shot in the dark in your possession?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So Jess, I was thinking through this because Jess had a fake one, but if she, the second thing is okay. I'll go to the second point. By the time you get to vote, have you decided that you are going to play your idol? And so if that's also checked, then if Jess says, I know it's fake or it's not real, I don't know, but I'm going to play it anyways, I think that she should play her shot in the dark here, because if you play your shot in the dark, you have the 1 in 6 chance of then that hitting, and then you could save your idol. The third point on the checklist, which I skipped here, is your vote non-imperative? So if she doesn't really cares who of the other 4 goes home, which I don't think she had a really strong, like my vote like really, really matters at this one point. If it's way more important to try to like maybe be immune for 2 rounds, I think that you should play your shot in the dark, and if it doesn't work, you have the idol chaser on the back end.
Yeah. Okay. I think that that's interesting as a play overall. For Jess herself, after talking with her yesterday, I really did not get the sense that she wanted to stay. I think she wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that I was surprised she even played the fake idol. I think she only was like, okay, they gave me this, so here you go. And I don't know if production is like, hey, like that we need you to pay off this story. Like, definitely, like, even if you think it's fake, just give it to Jeff. Just do it. Come on.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's more interesting to think through if in an analogous situation, if someone else was in her position. I don't think, sadly, I think she she seemed to be convinced that it was a fake idol and also was kind of fine with just leaving. But if someone else is in that position, they should consider, if they have both an idol and the shot in the dark and they know that like they're going to play their idol, you should almost always play your shot in the dark unless your vote is like so crucial it'll screw everything up, you know, that you're not voting.
Yeah,
because I think
it's somebody will do it. Somebody will do it the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, I think it's kind of equivalent in my mind to like the analytics in NFL with like the 2-point conversion. Like you should go for the 2-point conversion if you're down by 2 scores, because I think it's the same idea of like play your shot in the dark now, because now then the next round you'll know what your situation is. So if you play your idol, then you have to rely on the shot in the dark the next round. So it's like I just feel like you should use it.
Okay. Josh, besides the shot and the chaser, what else is going on?
There's one more thing, and then I actually have to run as well. I have to run. Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to give you. I'm breaking up with you, Rob.
Me.
Yeah. No, I was wondering. This is a little bit more Club Condo content, but I'm wondering if we misinterpreted Jelinski in episode 1. And if in fact the secret to the rest of the season is lying right in front of us. When he said I am a legend, did he mean it less narcissistically, as in I am, a great Survivor player of all time? But what if he's the legend that unlocks the map of Survivor 46? Yeah. And what do we know about Jelinski? He's the guy that he did the most, he put it all out there. And I wonder if it would be fun if the rest of the season followed that theme of like, with all the stuff they were doing with Jess, with like the fake idol, like piling on top of her. I don't really care about I know the ethics of it. People were getting really upset on Twitter. That's not what I really care about. I just care about like, the fact that like it was so unnecessary. And I just hope that we see a lot of unnecessary tactical play this season. That would be my hope.
Talked about this as, so you feel like that the Jelinski was sort of like the harbinger for the rest of the season, right? Like
I hope so, right? Don't we hope for that?
Sneak preview.
Yeah, exactly. He's the legend that unlocks it, the whole season.
Maybe several things from the first episode were all clues to what's going on. But all right, well, let's see. I mean, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I hope we get some messy gameplay. Loved Randon's move. Thought that was. I know you and Steven talked a lot about that. Haven't been able to catch yours in Jam's podcast, but Randon loved what he did there. One of my favorite moves, like of probably the new era.
Well, talk it through, because I thought it was a little risky.
Yeah, I just think that it's risky, but I do think that if you're trying to establish something long term, I think he and Charlie both had this moment of like, in this episode, in their own tribes in different ways of realizing they don't have anybody to like really rely on. And it was so interesting because Charlie's like at the top, Randon's at the bottom. Well, Randon's kind of in the middle because there's kind of Liz and then Venus as well. But I like that he's trying to establish something for the long term. And if you're going to take a swing like that, why not try something big in the pre-merge where you can get away with even making more mistakes, I think, especially if you have those kind of other two people,
it's a little big brothery. It's like, hey, like we're not in the power alliance. Like we're on the bottom. Like, let's work together instead of work against each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much Big Brother, but that I just think that like I like that he's trying to better his position instead of just settling for 4th of 4, which again, like that's what Charlie was trying to do as well. He didn't want to just create Charlie's Angels and just be the 4th of 4 that direction. I think that's a bad spot to be. We saw it with, I think we've just seen that be a bad spot in, recent Survivor history.
To be the 4th of 4?
Yeah. Well, I think the one person it really worked out for was like maybe Marianne, you could say, but I think that those 4 were really much more
Xander?
Tight. Yeah, that's a good. What do you think about Xander?
Well, I think that in terms of Charlie, if I'm just like, hey, I need to just get to the merge. Like, this is basically my ticket out of Sega. Let me get to the merge. And if I'm not feeling it, then, I could be the person to flip. And they're not going to, like, me as the only man in this alliance with 3 other women, like, what are the chances they're coming for me at the, they're saying like, oh, the 3 women are tight.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not getting voted out if my alliance is 3 other women, and I mean, maybe they think like, and especially not me, but they're not saying like, oh, that he's going to win all the challenges for them. So I think you're in a good spot to either, play the field like Xander kind of did. Not to say that Xander was like the end all be all of Survivor players. He did get to the end, but did he get 0 votes? So,
Yeah,
but he did get to the end.
Yeah, that's true. And I think he could have made some decisions down the line, tweaked his game a little bit, and he could have gotten some votes. So he definitely didn't put himself in a bad position. I think I just worry about like being like kind of like the Sarah of the Tikas or something, that like, I don't know, when push comes to shove, they will throw you under the bus to, advance what's really the core. So yeah, I just like that idea, like that implicit trust. You're talking about like the Steven, the JT, the Malcolm, the Denise, like those kinds of like relationships. Like I don't know, I feel like we've had like the 4 from what was it, Reba last season, you had the Tika 3, you've had the 4 from Survivor 42 as well, like really go far. I just feel like if you can find that implicit trust somewhere, like that is like the most dangerous thing I think in navigating the fluid post merge in the new era.
Yep, I think it's a matter of finding your 4.
Yeah. I mean, 4 would be great. 3 can work.
Still pretty good. Yeah.
But
okay,
that's what I got.
Yeah. And I wonder for Tika, like that they basically were 5, that Bruce didn't get to the second day. So they found their 3 and a 5. But for all these other tribes, is it a matter of finding your 4 and a 6?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's definitely true. And then I like, again, what Charlie was thinking of, like, okay, let's try to establish within that maybe who I can pull in as to be at least like my number 1 within that 4. Yeah. So I like Charlie's approach as well. So it's kind of a different conclusion he came to, but still trying to find like that not necessarily ride or die, but like that implicit trust of somebody who like can be your number 1 at the very least.
Yeah. Okay. Josh, you ready this fall for Survivor 40 several?
Yes.
Are you ready to go all in on that?
I'm all in.
Look, call it Survivor 40 several. Everybody will remember that. So somebody, Sam, message CBS.
Jelinski, get the merch out now. Yeah. I mean, yes. He'll get the Bruce treatment, and he'll be the first one out from the season. Bring him back. Several. Yeah. Maybe it writes itself right there.
Drop the 4, keep the several.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Okay. I actually do have to go. Thank you.
All right. I get it. You're a busy guy. Okay.
Not trying to big time you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye. All right. Let me say hello to Nick. Okay. Nick's been on and off, dropping off. Nick, can you hear us? Nick, going once, going twice. Okay. Let me come back to Nick. I know Nick's been in and out of being on hold. So I don't have anybody else on hold. I think I scared people off when I said I was in a hurry to get to the play. But if we get Nick, I'll bring him on. Otherwise, I have questions. We do have a feedback form, robhasawebsite.com/survivor questions for people. You can also post your questions in the chat, and I could take them as well. Maybe even get to some voicemails. But let me see if I can answer a couple of these questions that we got from the listeners who sent them in. Okay. This is from Pack, who says, I know this is from episode 1. Sorry, Q mentioned in his pregame interview that he would go after anyone who volunteered for the boat journey, whether or not they got something, and get them out. Jelinski volunteered. Why aren't we talking about this? Do you think that all the other mistakes matter to Q? That's very interesting. I've been really enjoying listening to the pregame interviews back, but I've been listening to the people after they get voted out. That's a great catch by Pack there. If Q did say that, then I don't know, maybe did Survivor Production not want to put that in there because they don't want people to not want to go on the journey? They want people to be, clamoring to go on the journey. But yeah, good catch if that's a thing that Q ends up thinking. All right. Let's see. Michael wants to know, do you think that these contestants still expecting no full swap is impacting their decision-making? So they did get surprised by the swap in Survivor 45. I think we will get a swap in Survivor 46. I think that especially if we see Yanu lose another challenge, I think that they're going to swap. I know they say on Survivor that no, everything is decided beforehand. I do feel like that in my heart of hearts that they adjust things on the fly. And I think that a tribe goes 0 for 3. I think that's like insta swap in the new era. So I would be surprised, especially if Yanu doesn't win the immunity challenge. Or if Yanu doesn't win and they have to vote somebody out, and it's down to just a 3-person tribe. I would be very surprised if we don't end up with getting a swap. But I don't know. Maybe they want to get like another like oolong, and because then I mean, what are they gonna do? Merge on like day 7 if they get down to 2 people, or just send? Because I think all the challenges are built for 3 tribes. So like I don't think necessarily they can like now decide to like if they let it go again and it's down to a 3-person tribe. And then it gets down to a 2-person tribe. We're going to compete in some of these big challenges. Like the challenges are already built and they probably involve like people carrying heavy things. And it's like, you cannot do this challenge with 2 people. So what are we going to do? It's built. The challenge is built for 3 teams. We can't like destroy a third of the challenge to make it down to only 2 teams. So I think they kind of might be locked in to having to swap if Yanu ends up doing another, going to tribal council again. So let's keep an eye on that going into next week. Okay. Joe Schmo says, does production enjoy a disaster tribe a la the Lulu Losers, or is the imbalance of each roster simply too hard to predict? I do think that overall, and we talked about this during Survivor 45, I do think that as a television product, having a loser tribe is ideal for the 3-tribe season because it's like the easiest story to tell. This tribe can't win. This tribe is facing adversity. I think it's actually harder to tell the story when everybody is like, okay, everybody's been to one tribal council. We really get to know the people from, I mean, look at Malcolm and Denise, look at Emily and Caleb. So we really look at Stephanie and Bobby John. The people that survive the disaster tribes like are like insta fan favorites. And so I don't know who that might be from this group, whether it's Q and Tiffany, if it's Tiffany and Kenzie, but if there are just a couple of survivors, I mean, even Tika, where Carson kind of escaped from it, but you know, they were fan favorites. So being like on and, you know, put some respect on Tika's name because they were not as bad as Lulu or even Yanu has gotten off on the start from this season. I do think that production likes having a tribe who's the disaster tribe, but I don't think that they create the tribes to have like one disaster tribe. I mean, maybe they did with Lulu. Lulu might have been the exception, but after that, I thought that Yanu was going to be the strongest tribe. I looked at Q and Jelinski and Banu, who's in great shape. And then they had like Tiffany, who's like good in the challenges. I thought they were going to dominate in the challenges. Jess, she was a rugby player. You never know how these are going to go once you actually get out there. Okay. All right. This is LH Daydreaming. It's so funny. You also call it Banu instead of Yanu, but they are very similar. I get the mix. I mean, Banu is on Yanu. Like, if you don't want me to mix it up, put Banu on another tribe, or don't name the tribe Yanu. Okay, I'm going to get them mixed up. It was a miracle I wasn't calling the Vessi tribe Jesse. They're having fun with us. Okay, they like it when we're screwing it up. Sarah Cupcakes asks us, who would win in a season consisting of only Yanu and Lulu players? So is it a 12-person season? So I'm trying to think. I guess we have to see how the rest of Yanu is going to go out. I guess if I was going to have a draft of the best players from Yanu and Lulu combined, I guess if I was going to make one tribe of the 6 players, I think I'll take Caleb Emily, and Sabaya. And then I'll take, I guess, the top 3 of Q, Tiffany, and Kenzie. Could I make one awesome tribe out of this? Yes. Okay, that would work. No, it wouldn't. I have 4 women. Okay. So I need to cut a woman from the tribe. I think Sabaya was good. That was my winner pick. I didn't regret it, even when she went out early. So I have to cut Kenzie for I need another guy for Banu. I don't know. Let's go with 4 women on this tribe. Okay. All right. Let me do another couple of questions before I have to run. Okay. Let's see. Jason wants to know, what happens if Nami doesn't go to tribal council and Randon gets swapped to another tribe, therefore being unable to collect his follow-up idol instructions? Does the nature of these beware advantages that rely on going to tribal council deter from a potential pre-merge swap? It's interesting. Would he lose his vote until the merge? Well, I guess, could he go and now if he knows where the idol is, could he potentially go find the box? Now I know Tiffany has it over at Yanu, but if he goes to Siga, is it possible he could find the same advantage at Siga and then can still get his vote back? I guess that's possible. There's only a 1 in 3 chance that he could go to the tribe that already found their box. I don't know what they would do in that spot. They could have painted themselves into a corner. So that'll be an interesting one to see how they have to figure that one out. Okay. Steven asks us, not Steven Fishback, would you rather have allies whose hands you have to hold the whole game or allies you have to keep an eye on for the whole game? Is it easier to drag non-strategic players to the end with, or find trust in strategic players who are less likely to be loyal to you? Would love to hear Jam, one of my favorite winners, thoughts on this. Personally, I think at this point in the game, I think this is a complicated answer, and it's a great question. I think at this point in the game, I think it is better to have a person that you don't trust 100%, but not somebody they have to drag through the game. And then I think at some point, maybe it's the merge, it flips. You're better to have the players that you have to drag through the game and not the players that you can't trust. I think that we've seen this, the history of Survivor is littered with people who they saw Rob and Philip Shepard and they said, aha. And you have people trying to bring players who are not good at the game further along with them, and it drags them down. I think that you need to, at least stick with the people that are not super trustworthy while you can, and then at least get to the point where then you can turn it around and get them out. But that's a really good question. I would love to do a little bit more research into that and see, because let's go back to Shannon Ricard, because I think this is a good example of it. So maybe it's earlier than the merge where Shan had a choice of, do I keep Ricard or do I keep Jeannie? And it was like, Jeannie's too nice. Jeannie's going to give up the plan. And Shan said, okay, I'm going to keep Ricard around. And I forget if he was holding, he was holding like JD's extra vote. And so, well, if I get rid of Ricard, then I won't get the extra vote back. In hindsight, Shan would have been better off with the loyal number that she would have had to hold the hand of, as opposed to the person that she couldn't exactly trust. So I wonder if it's maybe once the merge is in sight, it's better to switch it around. Maybe for a vote or two, you can't bring somebody the entire game through it. Or maybe Shan should have just been a little bit more open-minded to the person I can't trust, I have to get rid of. But that's another really good question. All right. Let me know, chat, if you have another question for us. Otherwise, let me start to wind things down. How about this other one? Let me do a quick one. Ben from St. Louis, okay? Not Ben from Siga. Rob, is it unfair that Siga and Nami didn't need to sit out a man to make it even for all three tribes in the challenge? Jeff has made tribes that do that before, and I feel like that the challenge required height and upper body strength more than anything. Having Mariah in there instead of Ben, Charlie, or Tim, same with Liz and Nami Men, is such a huge advantage. It doesn't seem equitable to me. I think that's a pretty good point. I wouldn't be opposed to that rule of like, okay, so Jelinski is voted out. So Siga and Yanu, you're sitting out. I'm sorry, Siga and Nami, you're sitting out a man for this challenge here today. That being said, those other two tribes barely even finished the challenge. So I don't know if they would have ultimately got through it. This was a tough physical challenge. I like that idea overall, though. I think that would make it a little bit more fair. I posted a video with Steven of like that. I think that if you go to that first tribal council, I do think you need to, like, if it's close, I think keep the Jelinski around. I wonder if that rule would change it, where it's like, all right, well, if we vote out Jelinski, then they've got to sit out one of their good guys. Look at the women on our tribe. Like our women are better than their women. So maybe it makes sense. Like strategically, we want to vote out a guy because then we're taking away one of the guys from the other team. I think it might add a different layer of strategy to it, and I think make it more equitable and fair. I know I tweeted out the video that Steven and I did. Somebody said like, "Oh, so then just vote out all of the smaller women." It's like, look, I'm just telling you how to optimize your gameplay for how the game is, not my changes, proposed changes to the game. Okay, all right. How about Matthew wants to know, Jeff said on Fire that their challenge consultants built something similar to the giant arch puzzle for something else. Made me wonder if this consultant built a version of this puzzle for Australian Survivor. Oh, yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah, he did say that. And they did do it on Australian Survivor. So I guess that was the case study. All right, let me run so I can go to the Jungle Book. Okay. Thank you, patrons, for your patience here with me today. Sorry, this is a little bit of a shorter Facebook Friday, Feedback Friday here with you today. But I promise you a banger of a podcast on Club Condo when Chappelle and I get together with the 17th place roundtable this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. Plus the B&B, Why Blank Lost, Purple Pants. Shannon is going to be having a Survivor Global this weekend. So lots of great stuff. Also, I talked about Australian Survivor. Plus, I've got a Trader's Exit interview coming your way as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.